Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be kind of a different style of video, and I'm going to be telling you, or just kind of recapping my betta care / fish care growth journey. I have been taking care of fish independently since 2013, actually. 2013 is when I got my first betta. It is now 2019. That makes it about 6 years since I have been taking care of fish. Probably in around December it'll be 6 years because I got my first fish just at the tail end of 2013. Right now I have a 20-gallon with a single betta that is live planted. When I started, I had an unheated, unfiltered betta 1-gallon bowl. I'm pretty sure that's where everyone started. Before you get into fish, that's what you believe is right. Around the 2.5-year mark of having Glub Glub, I got a second betta. He was a red veil-tail betta, and his name was Horatio. And he was named after the character from CSI Miami, played by David Caruso. At the time, I was obsessed with CSI Miami, and I was obsessed with David Caruso. So I named my fish after him. He was a red fish. Horatio had red hair. Horatio was my betta. And I got him the little cop car ornament from PetSmart, and it was all set up, and it was like a perfect scene. In 2015, it was July 6th of 2015, my first betta passed away. I missed having 2 bettas, so in August of 2016, I decided that I was going to get a second betta again, which at this point would be my 3rd betta altogether. I got a female betta named Journey, and once again, she was in an unheated, unfiltered bowl. And this was when I started to get involved on the forum called Betta Fish and Betta Fish Care. My username was My Babies Have Scales. Feel free to look me up. That was the best name that anyone could ever come up with, right? And that's when I slowly started posting pictures of my fish on Instagram, and around the same time of being on this forum that I realized that I was a terrible fish keeper. Terrible. Later in December, right before I started my YouTube channel, I got my 3rd betta. His name was Draco, and he was named after Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter series. Draco is my favorite character and still is to this day, so that is why I named him Draco. He is actually the fish that is in my profile picture for my YouTube channel and my Instagram as well. Around the time that I got Draco, I finally cracked and got my betta's heaters. I got just a little 10-watt heater from PetSmart, the National Geographic 10-watt submersible heater, and I have a review on that on my channel. However, I do believe it is no longer for sale. I can't find it anywhere, so I think they maybe stopped selling it. But that was the heater that I had, and at that point that I realized that heaters were actually really important. My fish did become more active in their bowls. Now fast forward a little bit, and I decided to also up my tanks to the larger size. I noticed how much of a difference a heater made, and so I figured, once again, I'll make another step to have the optimal betta care, and I will upgrade my tank. I got Journey, my female betta that I mentioned earlier. I got her 3-gallon. It was the Tetra Half Moon. Lots of videos on that. And I got Horatio and Draco, the Tetra 5-gallon aquarium kit. It kind of stayed like that for a while. June 11th of, I want to say 2017, but I'll correct it on the screen if I have to, I got my betta named Campbell. Campbell was a half-moon betta, and he was my first half-moon betta that I ever had. I got him on June 11th, which was one day before my birthday. My birthday is June 12th, so Campbell was kind of like my present for me, and I got him the day before. He was in a 1-gallon bowl for a day, just because I got him, I don't want to say on impulse, but I did not plan to get him that day. I was just at the pet store and we're getting like filter cartridges or something, and then I ended up buying him. So the next day, my birthday, I went out and bought a fish tank for him. And it was another half-moon 3-gallon tank, the same one that Journey was in. So at this time, I had 4 tanks up. I decided to use live plants for the first time. I started using them in my Betta tank, and this, I wish I could say was successful, but it wasn't. I realized that it did not have very good knowledge about live plants, so only one I could keep alive was Java fern. I wasn't using nutrients at the time because I thought those were for like diehards only. Research has either changed a lot or I'm just a lot better at navigating the internet because I just started live plants again. As you can see, I'll get to more into this at the end of the video, and it was a lot more successful then, so yay. When Journey passed away, I ended up getting another female Betta, simply because I had a bunch of pink ornaments, and I know this is a sensitive topic, but I personally do not like to use really pink and girly ornaments on my male fish, even though I know he doesn't care. So I wanted to get another female fish, and so I got a female Betta named Trinity so I could continue to use my pink ornaments and not use them on my males. When Draco passed away, I ended up getting a Betta named Emerich, and unfortunately Emerich did not live for a very long time. He was actually the first Betta I ever had that managed to jump out of his tank, and this was a tank with a lid. I don't know if he jumped through the hole where the filter was or if he jumped through the feeding hole. I will not know, but I definitely still think about it, especially because my current Betta Louie actually jumped out of this tank and like landed inside the filter. So Bettas do jump. For Christmas of 2016, my parents bought me my first large tank. I was always talking about how I wanted to graduate from nano tanks, which is anything smaller than 5 gallons, and so they bought me a 20-gallon tank. It is still the same one that I have to this day. And at this time, I decided to get tiger barbs. I got tiger barbs simply because when I was growing up, that was my parents' choice of fish generally when they had tanks. So I grew up with tiger barbs, and I knew that they were very exciting fish, and my parents liked them. They were a very active fish, and I wanted something that had a lot of movement, especially because I had been taking care of bettas for so long, which was a generally slower moving fish. I was able to keep them for a very long time, and in the time that I had tiger barbs, I did not lose one. In early February of 2017, I decided to try having some African dwarf frogs. I wanted to try something that wasn't exactly a fish because I thought it would be fun. Unfortunately, despite all my research, I was not able to keep them alive. The first batch, I thought maybe it was the batch from the pet store. The second batch, they still did not survive very long, and so I assumed it was me. Rightfully so, it probably was me, and so I decided not to get any more. So unfortunately, they did not live very long. I must have been doing something wrong, and to this day I don't know what it is, but I will never try again because I don't want to risk their lives like that. In around February of 2017, I decided to try my hand at a divided tank, and it was actually one that I purchased from the store. I did not home make the divider, and this does not have a nice story. I bought a Betta named Monkey, and I bought my first crown tail named Quinn. Quinn did not live a very long time, thanks to the divider. The divider of this tank, simply put, did not divide. Monkey was clearly able to swim through the divider, and even though I had sat in the room checking this divider and making sure my fish were fine for almost a full day, I left for I think an hour, and in that time Monkey had swam over to Quinn's side of the tank and ended up killing him. So that tank soon became just Monkey's. In this time, Horatio passed away. In May of 2013, I decided to try using a divided tank again. And don't worry, this is a different divided tank. I was getting ready to have a second 20-gallon aquarium. And so to make room for it, I had to get rid of one of my tanks. And to do this, I decided to take two of my bettas that I had and divide a tank one of my 5 gallons, so that I could have one less tank. And so I had 2 bettas in there. It was Campbell and Horatio that I had in there. In order to make this divider, I used some just craft like cross-stitching mesh, and I cut it to size and I put it in my tank and checked to make sure it was good. I measured it, everything like that. And that was how I made my home big divider. Ironically, the one I made myself was more successful than the one purchased with a tank. In the summer, I want to say it was around June, I got my first community tank. I had a male betta in there. His name was Monkey, the one I had gotten earlier, and I bought some new guppies for in there. So I had some guppies and I had a male betta. So that was my first attempt at a community tank, and my only attempt at a community tank. My guppy was pregnant, and on June 23rd, so about 3 weeks into having my tank, I noticed a couple fry swimming around my tank. Fast forward a few months, there was more guppy fry, and there was a whole issue with the parasite wiping out my entire tank. There was just so much to deal with. I had accumulated so many fish so quickly. I think the most I ever had at a time was like 7 fish or 7 tanks. It was an astronomical amount for me. I know there's a lot of people that have way more, but for me, having 7 tanks seems so overwhelming, especially like looking back now. Don't know how I did it. In late October of 2017, so almost 2 years after entering the YouTube scene and about 3 or 4 years since entering fish keeping, I decided to leave the hobby. I got rid of my fish, I sold my tanks, I rehomed, everything like that. A couple passed away. I had no fish, I had no tanks. I sold pretty much all of my fish tanks except for one. As you can see by me filming this video and by the fact that I have a fish behind me leaving the hobby was not a final decision. For a while, life was good. I'm not gonna lie. It was nice to not have to clean a tank, to not have to worry about anything. I didn't have any videos to edit. I wasn't filming anything. But then I started to miss it. On April 22nd, to be exact, of 2018, I came back to the fish hobby. I had set up this tank again using the old supplies that I had kept for this tank. I had kept the bare minimum for this tank, the substrate, the heater, the filter, everything like that. And then I went out and I bought a Betta. So that pretty much brings us up to date. It has been approximately a year now since I have gotten Louis. When I am filming this video, it is mid-March of 2019. So in about a month, it will be a year since I have gotten Louis. In the Louis's lifetime, I have switched from plastic plants to silk plants. And now I am just trying live plants again. So that is something that I just took on, and I'm interested to see how it goes from here. But I hope you found this video interesting of just me basically recapping my fish care and showing you all the updates. If you are a newer viewer, then maybe you found this entertaining. And if you're an old viewer who's been watching me since I started, I know who a couple of you are. And if you're one of those people, maybe this is a nice nostalgic video for you, because it is for me filming it, just going back and thinking of all my old fish, looking at these old photos, the old setups, everything like that. But if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I put a ton of videos in the iCards throughout this video, as you can see, just from things I've mentioned that I filmed videos on. And then there'll be a couple in the end screen, the ones that I feel are most important. I am on Instagram as well. My Instagram account is officialbetterbetta, so you can just follow me on that. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this and see where the fish keeping journey takes me from here, then make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified when I upload. But that is all for today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.